Ever wondered why some people are so compelling when they speak? What's their secret? Welcome to the exciting world of debating and persuasive speaking. These two closely related skills are about more than just winning arguments. They're about influencing hearts and minds, about promoting understanding and change. They're about communication at its most impactful. Debating is the art of arguing a point of view, while persuasive speaking is the craft of convincing others to see things from your perspective. Both require a clear understanding of your topic, a well-structured argument, and the ability to communicate your ideas effectively. In the upcoming sections, we'll delve into the basics of these skills, learn how to craft compelling arguments, explore the nuances of delivering a powerful speech, and discover how to handle questions and rebuttals. Stay tuned to unlock the secrets of becoming a persuasive speaker. Your journey to captivating audiences and winning debates starts here. The first step towards becoming a persuasive speaker is understanding the basics. What does this mean? Well, let's break it down. There are three core elements to effective debating and persuasive speaking: knowing your audience, conducting thorough research, and building a cogent argument. First up, let's talk about knowing your audience. This is crucial because your audience is the group of people you're trying to convince. It's important to understand their perspectives, their interests, and their values. This will help you tailor your arguments to resonate with them. Think of it as a bridge between you and your audience. The more you know about them, the stronger that bridge becomes. Next, we have research. This might seem like the boring part, but it's actually the backbone of your argument. Without solid facts, statistics, and evidence, your arguments will be like a house built on sand. So take the time to delve into your topic. Look for reliable sources and gather the data that will support your points. Remember, you're not just trying to win a debate, you're trying to enlighten your audience. Lastly, we have the art of building an argument. This is where you take all the knowledge you've gathered and craft it into a compelling narrative. Start with your main point, then use your research to build a series of arguments that support that point. Be clear, be concise, and remember to connect each point back to your main argument. This will create a logical flow that guides your audience through your thought process. Also, don't be afraid to challenge your own argument. This might seem counterintuitive, but it actually strengthens your position. By considering objections and addressing them preemptively, you demonstrate a thorough understanding of the topic and show your audience you've thought things through. Now, before we move on, let's recap. To be a persuasive speaker, you need to know your audience, conduct thorough research, and build a strong argument. Each of these elements is like a piece of a puzzle, and when they all fit together, you have a powerful tool for persuasion. Remember, a well-prepared speaker is a persuasive speaker. Now that you understand the basics, it's time to craft your argument. Think of crafting your argument as building a house. You start with a strong foundation, which in this case are your main points. It's important to choose these carefully, as they will form the basis of your argument. A good rule of thumb is to have 3 main points. This gives your argument structure and makes it easier for your listeners to follow. Next, you need to back up your main points with concrete evidence. This is the framework of your house. Evidence can come in many forms: statistics, expert testimony, or even personal anecdotes. The key is to make sure that your evidence directly supports your main points. This gives your argument solidity and makes it harder for anyone to poke holes in it. Now that you've got your main points and evidence, it's time to add the roof to your house, anticipating counterarguments. This is a crucial step that many people overlook. By anticipating what your opponents might say and preparing a response in advance, you're not only reinforcing your own argument, but also demonstrating that you've thought deeply about the issue. An effective counterargument doesn't just dismiss the other side's points. Instead, it acknowledges them and then provides evidence or reasoning to show why your argument still holds up. This shows respect for your opponent and can make your argument more persuasive to those who might be on the fence. And don't forget, while you're crafting your argument, it's important to keep your audience in mind. What do they care about? What kind of evidence will they find most convincing? The more you can tailor your argument to your audience, the more persuasive it will be. Remember, crafting an argument is an iterative process. You might find yourself going back and forth, tweaking your main points, finding better evidence, or refining your counter-arguments. But that's okay. The more work you put into crafting your argument, the stronger it will be. A strong argument is the backbone of persuasive speaking. Crafting your argument is just half the battle. Now, you need to deliver it. First and foremost, let's discuss voice modulation. This is about varying the pitch and volume of your voice to add depth and dimension to your speech. Think of your voice as a musical instrument. If you play the same note over and over again, it becomes monotonous and dull. But by changing the pitch and volume, you can create a symphony that keeps your audience engaged. Next, we turn to body language. Your body language should complement your words, not contradict them. Stand tall with your shoulders pulled back to show confidence. Make eye contact to establish a connection with your audience. Use hand gestures to emphasize key points, but don't overdo it. Too much movement can be distracting. Now let's talk about the power of the pause. Pauses can be a powerful tool in your speech delivery toolbox. They give your audience a chance to absorb what you've just said. They create suspense, drawing your listeners in as they anticipate what you're going to say next. But be careful not to overuse them, or your speech may sound disjointed. It's also important to be aware of your pace. Speaking too quickly can make it hard for your audience to follow, while speaking too slowly can make your speech seem boring. Aim for a pace that allows your audience to absorb your words without feeling rushed or bored. Finally, remember to breathe. It sounds obvious, but in the heat of the moment, it's easy to forget. Breathing not only helps to calm your nerves, but it also helps to control your voice. Take a deep breath before you start speaking, and remember to breathe evenly throughout your speech. And that brings us to the end of this section. Remember, delivering a compelling speech is about more than just the words you say. It's about how you say them. It's about your voice, your body language, your pace, your pauses, and your breath. Remember, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Great! You've delivered your speech, but what happens when someone challenges your points? The debate doesn't end with your closing statement. In fact, the conversation is just beginning. Now we're moving into territory where your ability to think on your feet is critical. It's time to discuss strategies for handling questions and rebuttals. First and foremost, stay calm. A heated debate might stir up emotions, but it's important to keep your cool. Remember, you're not just defending your points, you're also showing your character. When you're calm, you can think more clearly and respond more effectively. Next, listen carefully. It's easy to assume what the other person is going to say, but don't fall into this trap. Truly listen to their points. This is not only respectful, but it also gives you the chance to understand their argument fully and respond appropriately. Now, you've stayed calm and listened carefully. It's time to respond thoughtfully. This means not just shooting down their points, but also acknowledging their perspective. This strategy, often overlooked, can be very powerful. It shows that you're open-minded and respectful of differing views. When crafting your response, restate their point to ensure you've understood it correctly. Then, provide your counter-argument. Make sure your response is clear, concise, and directly addresses their point. Don't dodge the question or change the subject. That's a surefire way to lose credibility. Here's a quick tip. Prepare for possible rebuttals in advance. While you can't anticipate every argument, having a few responses up your sleeve can help you feel more confident and respond more quickly. Remember, the goal is not to win the debate. It's to engage in a fruitful discussion where both sides learn something. So be gracious and open-minded. Learn from the questions and rebuttals. They can strengthen your argument and broaden your perspective. Handling questions and rebuttals effectively is a key part of persuasive speaking. And it's a skill that will serve you well, not just in debates, but in many aspects of life. So, take these strategies to heart, practice them, and watch your persuasive speaking skills soar. You've come a long way in your journey to become a persuasive speaker. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. We started by introducing the concept of debating and persuasive speaking, having a look at the basics, and understanding their importance in shaping our critical thinking and argumentation skills. We then moved on to crafting compelling arguments, focusing on the importance of evidence and reasoning. We emphasized the necessity of structuring your speech effectively and delivering it with confidence and conviction. We also discussed how to handle questions and rebuttals, reminding you that a good debater is not only a good speaker, but also an active listener and a quick thinker. The key takeaway is that practicing debating and persuasive speaking is a surefire way to sharpen your critical thinking and argumentation skills. It's a skill that grows with practice and perseverance. Remember, becoming a persuasive speaker is a journey, not a destination. Keep practicing, and you'll soon see the results.